Let's go.
Dr. Rosie Milligan, one of the most sought-after speakers on the circuit today. Her live internet talk show, Express Yourself, is the most provocative, thought-provoking, and talked-about radio show on the internet. There's no holds barred, and Dr. Milligan puts the B in bold. She brings it every Tuesday live at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Rosie has been proclaimed the most provocative female writer of the century. Her books include Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman Sexually Made Simple, Why Black Men Choose White Women, and the book Nigga Please. These books have raised eyebrows across the country. She has authored 21 books and published 350 titles for authors nationwide. Check Dr. Rosie out at drrosie.com for her books, articles, and archives of her internet talk show. Sit at the feet of wisdom. Dr. Milligan is indeed a timekeeper and scorekeeper. She is the clock, calendar, and almanac for Black America. You need to hear her.
Good morning, top of the morning in sunny California. You're listening to the Express Yourself Hour. I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, coming to you live with nothing but straight talk. You know, well, that's how we do it around here, nothing but straight talk. My co-hosts are the wonderful Mr. Keith Swanson. He's still the AI man. You know, people kind of keeping up with AI now, so they kind of know what to look for. It ain't new anymore. So you guys better find Keith and hold him, call me, tell me you got him. There's still money on the table. Good morning, Keith.
One day I will make you money when I convert over.
You better convert to gold, because I understand the dollar about to go under. It says about to go down. I don't pay that too much attention. Do you, Keith?
I look at it all the time. So, you know.
You do?
Yeah. Hear it every day.
You think something is about to happen?
It's already happened. It's just waiting for the fallout. That's what we're waiting on. Yes.
Something big I thought was supposed to happen like the early part of this month.
Oh, no, not this month. Oh, the thing is that it was supposed to shut down the government.
Yeah,
but
I know they did.
Passed a resolution, but and then the Fed decided not to raise rates this time, so the banks are safe. So we're good. We're good until election time.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, good. All right, Shawannah, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing okay, Dr. Rosie.
Yeah, a little under the weather, huh?
A little under the weather. Yeah, not so. Yeah.
Potang.
Yeah.
Potang. They gonna miss you out there selling them houses and cutting up out there.
She can't shake her money maker right now, so you know.
No, I cannot.
She'll make up. Don't worry, she'll make up when she get back on the track. The girl will make up.
Y'all better make money now while she down. When she back out, there ain't gonna be no money left. All right.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I know that's right. Well, you guys, I think we have a great show for you today. We're going to talk about the 5 reasons for the turmoils in black male-female relationship. It is more critical right now today than ever before for the black man and black woman to resolve conflicts. Our stability will come because black people have a healthy and balanced relationship. So we're going to talk about why. We're going to talk about the turmoils. And most people I talk to, more turmoils now than ever before. We think of turmoils, it means a state of great disturbance, confusion, uncertainty. It also can be used to describe agitation, distress. So we're going to look at what really happened. What are the 5 different turmoils, the turbulence, and the black male-female relationships? You know, people often ask me, why are you always talking about black male-female relationship? Why don't you just talk about male and female? Now, can you guys believe somebody would ask me a question like that?
I believe it. Well, we've been brainwashed to thinking that we just like the white folks. You know that.
That we're Caucasian clones, right?
Caucasian clones, yes.
That is the saddest notion that I ever heard. But I tell you right now, just imagine. Think about if you're looking at 60 or 70%, probably 60 is probably about right. It might be 7. I hate to think it being that high, but as I look around, it might be almost up to that. When homes are headed by single parent, whether it's because there's a lot of dads who are single parent who are rearing their children more than we can imagine, because there's not a lot of talk about the single men who are rearing their children. But let's look at single. Just being single. In today's economy, with one check, one income, I mean, that's barely making it. That's barely making it. So look at what 2 incomes could do to a family, how it would raise many households from the poverty threshold. So that's why it's so important now for us to really talk about how to have health and balanced relationships, how to hang in there, how to resolve conflicts. That's why people in relationships and in divorce because of conflicts, turmoils that they cannot resolve. So I think we need to really embrace togetherness more now than ever before, because you need 2, 3, at least need 2 incomes. To try to yeah. And it takes training the kids up and having them to have a vocation that they don't become a liability on the parents. Because, Keith, we see a lot of parents bearing the financial burden of their children.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
And their grandchildren.
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
sometimes they're great grandchildren.
Yes. And when I look around as I do estate planning, and I look at the older people, 75, 80, 85, I'm looking at them with houses, duplex, 2 or 3 properties. And then I look at the offspring, Keith, who don't own a home and don't look like one is within reach. You guys ever thought about that?
Yeah, it happens all the time. I'm living that reality right now. Yeah.
Like the newer generation. And those who are selling, and some not selling, just losing outright, cannot afford to keep the mortgage up. When their parents make that transition, it's scary. It really is, Keith. It is scary.
It is.
You say, well, what's happening? My grandmama had two properties. They didn't have a high school education, some of them. So how do you dissect this, you guys? I'm troubled by this. How do you dissect that?
You can't. It's just it's just time and chance. That's all. I remember I was looking at back in the before the 1970s, right? That I think 15% of your monthly income, went to housing. Okay. Now it's, especially in Los Angeles, double 60 and 70% sometimes. So that's just inflation. It's just your wages not keeping up with inflation.
Absolutely. And those people who retire and towards Social Security, take a look at what's happening with them, because, very few people have a Social Security check that's enough to pay to pay mortgage.
Yeah. You don't have it locked in. There's some of the fastest growing homeless folks are seniors now. Baby boomers.
Absolutely. So it's going to be important for us to really focus on not just having a mortgage. We got to focus on paying that sucker off. I'm telling you, because you're leaving a liability, not an asset. When you have a house note, including taxes, going to be close to $4,000 a month. Most people, children, cannot afford that. So it's not an indictment on them because they lose their parent home, but some of them could come together and decide, well, let us all buy it together. I think it makes sense now because you're going to have to move in with me anyway as things get things get tough. So I think there's going to be a push on people buying homes together. But let's look at some of the turmoils. Number one, it's family values. You know, people get married. You have one set of values about what a family should be like, what real children should be like. We are a product of our environment. We really are. So two different people coming from different environment, different religious belief, different cultures belief, it makes a big difference. So they're going to have some real issues about, I think you should spank your child. Well, no, my parents didn't spank me. We don't believe in that. We always pay tithes. And you married to someone who doesn't believe in, they say, giving the church your money, giving the preacher your money. That's how they may term it. So how did all this come about? By people not really qualifying their mate. They're so eager to get married, and particularly, I know I get a lot of flack about this, but black women, they hear that that's what? How many women to every man? Is it 11?
Yeah, they keep saying that. Yeah, they keep saying it, but it's not. And they don't qualify that. What they call is a qualified mate. There used to be income and all that kind of stuff, and it varies anywhere from 3 to 1 to 5 to 1, depending on where you're at. So
right.
They'll say what a qualified mate is, and he's got to make a certain amount of income, and not, he can't have a record and stuff like that. So he's got to be qualified. But the rate's not that high. It may be a little bit more. I think there's like 20% more women than there is men. So, but the old qualifier is suitable mate. I think that's the term.
Right. And I think what happens with that, it causes women to get involved in a relationship or marriage, not fully qualifying the person, not really meeting the expectation,
right.
But because it's such a shortage they hear, so let me just take what I can get, or let me just say that I've been married, even if it don't work out, I can say I've been married,
Yeah.
So family value make a difference. What kind of family did you come from?
It used to. Okay, it does, but the thing is that if I can take a moment, you remember this, Dr. Rosie, because you were right in the middle of this when you had to counsel people when they changed over from what we used to call marriage 1.0 to marriage 2.0, right? Remember when the psychologist said we're getting rid of all these so-called gender roles, in marriage and stuff like that, and people had to come together and figure it out.
Yeah.
And there was no more wife had to do a certain thing and a husband had to do a certain thing, So they slowly got rid of gender roles and they went from husband and wife to partner. You hear the young folks say, "I want a partner."
Right.
When we were coming up, when you were coming up, and I think my generation was about the last one. When I was coming up, we were looking for a wife. I was looking for a wife, and she was looking for a husband, which is a role. Okay.
So now we're looking for a partner.
Now we're looking for partnerships, and partnerships have not worked, okay, because there's no defined roles anymore.
Right.
And I tell all my folks that I counsel, right, when my father came up, you could throw a rock and find a wife, okay, because they're all, even if you don't like her, if she doesn't like you, she still knows how to be a wife, okay. Like my mother and father. My father did not train my mother to run a house. She knew it. She was taught from a child to run a house. Okay, these women are not taught to run a house anymore. Okay, in other words, you got to come together with her and hope that she's taught to be a wife. Hope that she wants to be a wife. And the average black marriage nowadays only lasts 5 years.
Yeah, and you look at what is a wife. What is the wife duties?
What's wife duties, and a lot of women don't know.
But they know what the man do. They'll tell you quicker than her. Well, it's his job to bring in the bacon. He's supposed to make sure I have a roof over my head. He's supposed to provide food and clothing for me and my children. And then you in turn ask her, well, then what is your role? What are you supposed to do? I don't hear those roles being defined.
Yeah, and then they say, okay, he's supposed to help with the kids and help with cleaning and cooking and all other kind of stuff. So in other words, now they need a man that does the stuff that their mother used to do. So it's all haywire. So
yeah, it is so mixed up too, the turmoils, because you have a lot of men who have never been in the presence close up
mm-hmm,
functioning
mm-hmm,
of a
yeah,
male because the mother was divorced, sing about choice, whatever it was. So
sing
he
about
has
choice.
no example of what that role is supposed
Oh,
to be, and that create turbulence
mm-hmm,
in a marriage, in their relationship, because
yeah,
they don't have a realistic expectation
yeah, yeah, well,
of that man.
and the whole society pushes them not to have a defined role, And I was listening to, I think these two women arguing, these two educated women, right? It says that they don't want to be defined, have their lives defined as a walking uterus. In other words, of being a mother and having a child. They don't want to be defined by that. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Well, that's one of the turmoils that really has
Mm-hmm.
to do with family value, rearing children. I
And
believe
children.
one way, you
Mm-hmm.
believe another way,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and communication. Um, Now let's look at the communication part.
Ooh.
And people really want to think it's, like we are Caucasian clones. No. You got to look at what comes into the party when you begin. Number one, a lot of black men have already been discounted, disrespected, uh, undervalued. Same thing as black women, but black men in particular, with saying they're lazy, they're just dropping sperms, and they haven't been heard in society, in the corporate world,
Mm-hmm.
even in the churches. They're dominated.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're trying to communicate, you're dealing with someone who's very quick to think that you're trying to be demeaning or you're talking down to them. I don't have to take this. And Keith, you being a man and being around men, so you can, elaborate on what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start communicating, sometimes they hear what you didn't say. They heard something else. They
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
defensive, protecting their manhood. You talking down to me, or yes, I know this, because I notice sometimes when I'm talking to men before I can finish, I got that. I'm doing that, and you look at them saying, "You're not doing that," but they
Oh,
trying to tell me, "I don't want you to tell me."
okay. This is I don't know if this is controversial, but since 1972, when the feminists took over the society, they've been trying to change what manhood is. And and I always say men are supposed to think first and feel second, right? But what they've been trying to do, and they especially with the younger men, with the millennials, with the under 40 crowd, right? You hear a lot of that because I encounter a lot of that. Um, is they're taught to feel first, and men are lousy feelers. Okay, in my opinion. Okay, our brains are not wired to feel like that. So they will get defensive. They won't hear you, and you ever because I have to stop them all the time, right? When they get defensive, right, and they say, "Well, I'm doing this, doing that." Okay, repeat back the question that I just asked you,
Hmm.
and they can't. Okay, I understand when women do it because women are wired to feel first and think second, right? So I understand that, but men are lousy women, and they're teaching, they're trying to uh, put a woman's brain into a man. Men are supposed to be logical, listen, and think first, and they don't, and that's why they get defensive because they're in their feelings, and we're not wired to be that way. I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes sense, and it also makes sense with when it comes to communication,
Right. It
how
is.
it's difficult many times with the black male, because sometimes they're very sensitive.
They
They've
are.
been accustomed to their mother telling them what to do. They
Ooh,
go to Sunday school, a woman telling them what to do. They go to
mm-hmm,
regular school. Most time they have a
mm-hmm.
female teacher. So I think
Don't like
this
that.
just kind of get sick of females.
Ah, there's okay. The thing is, men are not, like I said, men are not wired to be irrational like that. And trying to, so we train these, and they're still trying to train males to be rational because they don't think they're soft enough.
Can we
Okay.
train them? can they be trained, or that's just the nature of a man?
Well, the thing is, you can't train the nature out of the man. Okay,
Yeah.
You can't train a dog to be a cat, but if you train the dog to act like a cat, he's gonna make a lousy cat. He's still gonna be a man, but thing is, it's still gonna come out, but thing is, it's gonna come out all screwed up. So a lot of times, what you hear out of the men, okay, is is female thinking in a man's body, and it doesn't work. That's how come they get angry, they get defensive because they don't know. Men have to learn how to govern their feelings. They have to be in control of their feelings. They have to be more stoic and have to listen more and talk less. Okay, but in school, from the time they're 3 years old, they're taught to talk, and when they're around their mothers and the teachers and blah blah and all these. You ever been around a man that's been raised around a lot of females?
Yeah.
And he picks up those female habits, and they're fussy and persnickety, and they don't listen, and they're emotional. Yeah, that's what happens. And so that's what we have a whole generation of men that are like that. I encounter that all the time, and it takes a lot to actually slow them down, ask them questions, and get them into that. I always, the way I defeat it is, okay, I said, when I first started, I said, I want you to think, okay. Okay, men think first and feel second, so I want you to think. And Carolyn May says that activates the switch in their brain where it turns on their thinking mind instead of their feeling mind, because they've been taught to get into their feeling mind first. I do the opposite for women, but yeah, that's when I handle men like that. I challenge them to think first. And that normally gets them back down to where they listen and think about what you're saying, and they're less emotional and reactive. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, this explains why there's so much confusion, turmoil, chaos in the African American relationship. Especially when you're looking at the dynamics of the family. If you look at a man who won't read by his mother and being around women, vice versa. I mean,
you know what the most tumultuous household there is by statistics? Two females in a household. A lesbian relationship is the most violent, most tumultuous relationship by stats. More domestic violence, more fights, more breakups, all that kind of stuff. So it's two emotional people, okay, that are unbalanced, and that's what you have. That's what you're getting more of.
Yeah, God made us balance, the yin and the yang.
Yin and yang, yeah.
So we accept the fact that we're different and look at how we can get along with these different, understanding it, then you can understand why a man feels the way he feels. Then the man should understand why the woman feels the way she feels.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's that number one, the family value, environmental. Now, money matters.
Okay.
Turmoils. Who makes the most money? Who should make the most? Who should have the last say so? Should that be based on how much money you make, or should it be based on the common goal? Should it be based on what the two of you want out of life for yourself and for your family? Or should I decide always because I make the money, or because I'm the stay-at-home mom and don't have a job? Do I still have an opinion? Do I have a say-so about what kind of house we buy, how much we need to pay for it? Money matters. Shawannah, what's your take on this money thing? Shawannah?
She okay?
Yeah, she may have stepped away because she said she wasn't. So Keith?
Yeah.
Money matters.
It does matter.
This bring about a lot of turmoil in relationships. That's why I say when you're dating, you need to go shopping with that person. You just need to do a variety of things. Does that person want to go to the most expensive restaurant all the time? Does this person find out their shopping habits?
Yeah.
I think we have a call, Keith. Let me go ahead and take a call. Let me give the number out, too. The telephone number is 310-928-7733. That's 310-928-7733. We are talking about turmoils in the black male-female relationship. Caller, go ahead and give us your name.
My name is Len Moses.
Hi, Lynn. How are you?
Good morning, Sister Rosie. Doing fine, and yourself?
I'm wonderful.
Wonderful. I just had to chime in on your topic this morning, if I may.
Okay.
Please do.
Okay.
I am totally, completely in agreement with everything you're saying. Single female households generate 80% of the prison population.
It does.
It does, yes. And the same thing for the foster care population. We have to stop listening and following these other, let's just call them these other societies. We have to stop following social media. We're attacking each other, and we see all these destructive, debilitating videos of pranks, gold digger pranks and trash like that. This is not coming from our community. These people are paying people to degrade us because you can't just come out and call us certain things anymore. So this is all orchestrated. And us, the United States going to other countries and trying to dictate LGBTQ values on them, it's not working. They are rejecting it en masse. They say, go ahead and sanction us. We don't care. So we have to do the same thing here and start going back to traditional, working with each other. If a guy's a mechanic, he's a mechanic. He's going to bring in 30 grand. If you're or 35 grand or whatever, pool that with yours.
More like 70 or 80.
You have enough to survive and thrive. This is what these other societies do, these other cultures. They pool. They don't have to be told to work together. It's always the same formula. We stick together, we win. That's my take on it.
You're absolutely right, Lynn. We have to decide. We need to have a national conference on what it means to be a black man and a black woman, how we should relate to each other. We're not Caucasian clones. So you cannot have someone expecting your man to provide the same way that the man provide that he's working for. We got to understand, when you start bringing in the bacon, the man's supposed to do this. I was sharing with a couple recently where the woman was making like $50 an hour and her husband was making like 13. So they made choice for him to rear the children, and she go ahead and stay in the workplace. Well, her parents would hit the ceiling. That's not right. This man was educating those kids, taking them to the park, teaching them. I mean, but doing stuff that the woman probably would not have done.
She couldn't.
And they raised so much hell about it till they end up breaking that family up.
Yeah, and
it was working for them. And I keep telling people, if it's working for you, do not let society, a major script, determine your life. We got to determine what works for us. And a lot of black folks don't want to hear me say that. Well, we are all the same. We're no different. We need the same. No, you need something different. You come from a different culture, different background. Your experience is different. So don't try to fit in. You don't fit in. Carve out your own path that we can have better families, and better families, we're going to have better economics. Because I'm telling you, this poverty, Lynn, I am so afraid of where this poverty level is going to go among black Americans.
Black America and white, people think, and we think, we put ourselves down. Oh, the white man has all. No, he doesn't. That's why they went to Trump. They are desperate, just like we are. But we're all looking for some magical savior when the people of the United States are going to have to say enough. Damn the Republicans, damn the Democrats. If they're not working for us, they need to go. And all of these politicians, I'm sick and tired of holding my nose. I don't give a damn if it's white, black, Asian, Hispanic. I'll vote for ET before I vote for an incumbent. They all have to. The system's not working. We have 60,000 homeless on the street. Who's to blame? Who's to blame?
Yeah.
Somebody's to blame.
Oh yeah.
And it's people that are in office.
Yeah.
How do you hold them accountable? If the system isn't working, you all have to go. We have to stop holding on to our favorite. Our Mark Ridley Thomas. He's a 30-year pimp. Marquise Johnson. He's a pimp. Curran Price. He's a pimp. They all have to go. The law. There are people trying to help us out. John Lee looks like he's going to be indicted. Curran Price just indicted. Ridley Thomas. Marquise Dawson, I keep saying he looks like he's going to be the next. Hopefully. We have to get rid of them. They're a plague, and we have to change the system. It's scary what's happening. BRICS, I keep talking about it.
It's already here.
This financial system, go ahead and talk about it. I'm talking too much. It's your show. But there's
no.
Go
ahead and talk about it.
Well, one thing, that's why it all falls into money matters. We have to construct an avenue that blacks are not left out of the equation. You know?
That's right.
I remember the days when if blacks were not working, this city, all over this country, you guys, money would be made that will pass down for generation and generation. Construction is taking place all over this country, and black people are not at the table. So money matters in relationships. It really does. It's going to be whether you can send your child to a private school or have after school. Since they don't, I mean, it's ridiculous not to have after school for kids who are getting out. And what do? What are you going home to? Your parents are working. So we're going to come back to that. But turmoil in the black family has a lot to do with money matters. And you might say, well, how did the politics come in that Lynn was talking about? It comes in by the fact that if politicians are put in place to really look out for its citizens, to look out, then there wouldn't be as much poverty
we have a representative form of government. There's no getting around it. We have a representative form of government, and black people are not being represented. Can I throw one idea? Then I'm going to let you go and finish your show. I'm talking way too much. You touched on something about the schools. I just want to tell people, not only do we not have after-school care, let me tell you something. The Jewish community and so many of these other communities, Armenian communities, all their kids are tutored. They are tutored. We look at tutoring as, oh, he's behind. It's a stigma. It's a stigmatism thing. No, they look at it totally different. It is preparation. On Saturday, they go to tutoring. One day a week, they do tutoring. That's how they are. In the Asians, they are 100% tutored. X hours a week, and then they go and play. They are ready for those exams. We have to get our kids not just to after-school programs, but into organized, systematic tutoring systems. Blessings to you.
And it translates to earnings, because the if you look at who studies the most in school, they 20 years later they actually earn the most in wages.
Yes.
And it turned into money matters, because folks, I'm telling you right now, that's a big turmoil in relationships. One of the turmoils when it comes to relationships, a lot of children now having to move back home or could never leave home. And that creates turmoils in the family, because men tend to think, you're 18, boy, you need to get up out of here. The woman doesn't see it that way. This is my child. If he doesn't have a place to stay, he should always be welcome at our home. A lot of men do not feel that way. Am I right?
That's right. But the thing is that, with when the environment changes, we need to change. The thing is, we have to
Thank you.
have we have to have a mode of a standard of conduct
Uh-huh.
inside the home. Okay, if there's going to be adult children, there has to be a standard of conduct. We have to we have to reestablish that. We used to have that. Okay, we used to have that. We don't have that anymore, so we have to reestablish that. If the adult child's going to be in the home, how he's supposed to act, how is he supposed to respond to the man of the house, stuff like that.
I think, Keith, we need to do a whole show on that because it's so
Mm-hmm.
common now. And I tell women who refer to men, well, he's a mama's boy. He's still at home.
Mm-hmm.
You better go somewhere and sit down someplace because most of you are still at home. And if he's at home, that shouldn't be a negative thing. I see that as a wise man versus getting out there struggling. You can stay there, help your parent cover bills. You'll be able to have a little money to save for yourself. So I hear that amongst black women all the time. Well, honey, if he's at home, I ain't fooling with no man who's still in his mama's house. How can you say something like that in this time and day?
Because that's what they're taught, and that's what's been passed down, and I think a lot of mothers have forgotten what their great grandmothers had to do because it wasn't a negative back then, but it is now. So
we got it. It's interesting, Keith.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be a major overhaul in the way we operate as families now. We can no longer. It isn't the normal way we used to do things, folks. I'm telling you, just within the last 5 years. Well, really, last 10 years.
Really, if you look at it, the last 3 since COVID.
Yeah.
It's really it's like it's on roller skates right now. It's really
absolutely.
It's really you can actually see it accelerate, right in front of you.
So you're going to have to do something that you've never done before. Times are changed. So we looked at family values. We looked at environment, rearing children, talking about some of the turmoil that comes, in our family. And the third one is sexual needs and appetite. Now, this is one that's really critical because of the money matters, because of the family values, the conflict up here. You're arguing about how you should rear the kids. You're arguing about your roles. You're having problems communicating. Your money is low. Now, when it comes down to it's a given to have some sexual issues. But doing study, men a lot of times when they're under stress and things are not going well with them, sex tend to be
release.
Yeah, it's a release for them. Women tend to, when things are going bad or when they're under stress, when they're not happy, they tend to withhold sex. That becomes a big problem, big turmoil in a marriage. A big turmoil. So we have to look at that, and people have to come together and decide. Do I have sex because I want to, as a wife, or because my partner wants to? These are things you got to look at. It's not like somebody asking you to jump off the mountain or to push a cart up a hill. I mean, how long is the endurance for sex in the first place? So why are you arguing about something that could be over in a short time?
In 15 minutes, yeah.
I don't get it. If that long. So isn't that amazing?
If that long.
Yeah, if that long. You're doing good if that long, okay? So why are we putting so much energy into that? I ask people that all the time when in counseling, well, when I'm mad, I'm just not, I'm not conducive to good sex. When I'm angry, I say, okay, when you go to work and you're angry with your boss, do you stop putting the work out? Do you stop working? Do you just sit at your desk and hold your hand for 8 hours because you're not pleased with what he's doing? We got to rethink the thing. We got to rethink some things that, what they call, don't sweat the small stuff, Keith.
Yeah.
and it's small. We got to make some concessions, some negotiation. But it's important for the man to really say to the woman, as I spell out in my book, Satisfying the Black Man, Sexually Made Simple, and Satisfying the Black Woman, Sexually Made Simple. The man needs to make his agenda very clear. I'm not into making love right now. I just want to have sex. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Don't have your wife preparing for a long trip if you're just going around the corner. I'm just saying. Don't have me packing a luggage full of clothes and you just going around the corner and come back and say, we're not going to take this trip.
Some guys do it. Any woman I've ever been with said sex is on the agenda. If you don't want to do it, then you better find me a replacement. So.
Well, now, okay, you ain't getting me put out to church. I ain't getting on that. I ain't getting on that. If she don't, somebody else will. I ain't getting on that.
Gotta find me a replacement. I didn't come here to be celibate. So that normally works.
No, yeah. If she doesn't feel like it, you know self gratification. Do what you got to do. She may feel like it tomorrow. Come on, Keith. Come on.
It only works for so long. Okay.
Tim said, "I take the fun out of
you got a week.
Got a week. Y'all better learn self gratification around here, because that kind of stuff leads to divorce. Some women can never forgive you if you cheat on them.
Yeah, okay. Now it wouldn't be cheating if I let her know ahead of time.
Yeah, all right now, all right. Keith, you trying to start some mess. Let's see what's on the board, Keith. You getting messy. You want to be messy today. Where's Shawannah? Where's my partner? Keith is messy. What's on the board, Keith? Shawannah, talk to Keith.
Shawannah know what I'm talking about. Shawannah don't play around with that kind of stuff. Shawannah know her about the man. Come on now.
Yeah.
I ain't got to worry about Shawannah.
Shawannah, what you got to say? What you going to say, Shawannah? Defend me.
Well, I do think that our families, if the woman is making more money than the man, it's okay for the woman to go out and make more money than the man.
Yes, yeah.
I do believe that, and I do believe that the man could be a really good mother or dad to the kids at home.
To the kids.
There's nothing wrong with it. I don't disapprove of that at all. As a matter of fact, a lot of people in my household, the woman takes care of the man, and the man is a good dad, a great dad, and the family is really together. And I really believe that we don't need to focus on, because he's the man, that he should be working. He should be working and making more money, while the wife should be sitting at home, because it's always one or the other. And I think that as a family, we have to stick together, and not worry about those little things. Yeah.
Yeah, and you think about it, when we look at, back in the day, a parent would say to their daughter, go to college, get your good education, find a man to sit you down. What was she trying to do? Trying to be a Caucasian clone. The white woman was sitting down because the black woman was up. Say that again. The black woman was up. She was taking care of her children. She was taking care of the things in the house. She was doing the washing and ironing and the cooking. But black mothers didn't equate that and put that together. All they thought is, I want my daughter to grow up and be like Miss Ann. I want her to be.
That's true.
Yeah, I want her to be working. I want her to be at home. The white woman's at home because you were in her home taking care of her babies. Taking care of the washing and ironing, going to the market. They never put that together. You see, does that make sense? They didn't put that together. And so now you have black women who are saying, because their mothers have taught them, well, I'm just working for extra. I shouldn't be working anyway. It's your job to take care of me and these kids.
Yeah.
Who said that? That's not the African standard. African women, they were in the marketplace, having their commerce. They wasn't sitting down.
Yeah, and black, and the thing is that what white women, what other women are noticing, this is why you have a lot of Latinos after black men, is that black men are not trained that way. Black men are trained to do the same job in the household that the girls are, pretty for the most part. Black men are the most egalitarian, as feminists call it, egalitarian men on the planet. Because even going to Africa, to get what they call passport bros going to Africa, what they're noticing about African American men is that they're a lot more lenient, they're a lot more amenable, they're a lot more they're a lot more, they'll allow their women to do a lot more things without restrictions. Okay. And because we're trained to make the household work, it's not about who does what. So, and I think a lot of black women are getting away from that, and I think a lot of the black mothers, because a lot of black mothers didn't like their life, so they're teaching their girls to be something else. But the thing is that even white women are having to come on board, because what the white women are saying is, okay, feminism has put you in a breadwinner spot. Okay. Your man cannot have that job because you got that job. So it's your job to go out and make the money, and he has to adjust. And white men are having problems adjusting. Black men don't have that kind of problem. Okay.
It makes a difference. The number is 310-928-7733. That's 310-928-7733. You can go to innerlightradio@yahoo.com. If you want to email us, it's INNER, innerlightradio@yahoo.com. Keith, we have something on the board. You want to read it?
Okay. Let's talk about the high costs of dating. Gas costs over $6 per gallon, and cheap meals cost $30 per plate. And I got to pay this every time I go out on an exploratory venture with a woman. Nathan teach via Facebook.
Stay your ass at home and cook, okay?
And cook, and you know, and I always tell.
That's what needs to start happening. If you go over to your man's house and he has prepared a meal, or he can tell you something that he likes to eat, and you can say, well, okay, you get all the ingredients. Why don't I come over this evening? We'll cook it together. Folks, this can be a good time to have a nice, cozy experience. Instead of going out paying all that money for that no good poisoning food, get in the kitchen. That's what you need to do. Now you've saved on gas. You've had an intimate evening. The next week you can say, well, we are dining at your house. It's time to be very creative. And I think this will allow us to be creative, be more sensual, be more sexy, be more everything. You may have less, but guess what? You can be more. So whoever put that on the board, next time, don't be going out. You know, you don't have to do all that. You'll be home forever. Way this economy is, a lot of people can't take a person to a movie because she's going to want some popcorn. Most times when you go out, play, whatever, what's next? Let's go eat. We got to change that. We can't do that now. Everybody can't do that. So are you supposed to just stay home, not be sociable? Come on, folks. Let's get creative. Black folks have always known how to take nothing and make something. And that's what we better start doing now.
Yeah. And I always say before you even go on date one with a woman, you should know her already. You know, in other words, the first time you go out with her shouldn't be the first time trying to get to know her. I say at least talk to her for a week on the phone.
A week? That ain't nothing. A week. I know.
You need
to talk to her a month.
I would say that.
She'll slip up. You can hold yourself for a week being the same way, but you take about a month. Between that time, something gonna come out that you need to hear. A week is too short.
You should know her already before you even take her on a date. Okay, I was still, but people want to rush into things because you're looking at that nice round behind that she got, and you want to get to it as quickly as possible, and that's what happens.
Well, you better stroke the mind before the behind.
I tell them that all the time, Dr. Rosie.
Stroke the mind before the behind. I'm trying to tell y'all. I've been trying to tell you how many years now? When I wrote the book, Satisfying the Black Man, Sexually Made Simple, Satisfying the Black Woman, Sexually Made Simple, that's been over 15 years ago. Stroke the mind before the behind.
Because you might stroke the wrong behind and trying to get rid of that mind. Okay,
I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. Tim said everything we discussing today is on the money. He said, keep it up. Keep it up. We got Tim fired up, you guys. Tim keep passing notes.
I tell you, my mentor has been in this game 40 years. She knows what she talking about. So they say, Keith, where you get that stuff from? I said, it must be a man. I said, no, from a woman. Okay. You don't want to hear her talk. You think I'm rough.
They best to, I'm telling you. Well, this show is going to re-air, you guys, at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Those who didn't get a chance to listen, you want to check in. Well, let's go to the fourth row. We talked about family values, environment, how you would raise, communication. Then we said money. We talked about the turmoils in black male-female relationships. Sexual appetite is a big one. Sex role definition. How we internalize is we talk about what a black man should do or be and what a black woman. That's a real issue. Well, this is my role, and this
it's called gender roles now. Dr.
yeah,
Rose.
gender role. Why did I say sex role? Okay, y'all know look, I'm 77. Okay, so I may say anything up in here. I may say field role. Okay, who picked the cotton and who chopped it? Don't mess with me, Keith. Yeah, that's a big thing, trying to define the roles. So roles should be defined based on what worked for you and your relationship and your family dynamics, you guys. It really makes a difference, you know. So you want to look at that. Gender role definition. The man's supposed to do this, the woman's supposed to do that. Look, you're supposed to do whatever needs to be done to make your family happy and to make things work for their family. If you need to cook, first one get home, start the meal. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Who's going to take the kids to the football game? Who said it has to be the man? Who's going to take the boy to the barbershop? That's your job. Who said so? These are things we have to redefine for ourselves if we want to make these relationships work. Now, the last one, that's a big one, Keith. Religion and cultural belief. Religious and cultural belief. Now, that's a big one.
Okay.
Big one. I believe in this from a religious standpoint. I'm Catholic, you Baptist. I'm Muslim. Should they intermarry, Keith?
If they're not, if it's not an issue, but you should know that in your supposedly courting process beforehand, because you don't wait till you get married to start discussing stuff like that. If it's
that's why you stroke the mind before the behind. You find out how they believe from a religious standpoint. Their culture different. That's important.
You should have, if he goes to the mosque and you go to the church, you guys should have gone to each other's places of worship before you even think about getting married. You should be counseled by people from both sides.
Yeah.
To know what's expected, because it is, and basically, if you really want to keep it a buck, you should pick, if it's really important to you about your faith, you should pick a woman or a man inside that faith, out of that church, okay, that has the same kind of cultural beliefs and outlooks on family that you do.
Yeah, because how you going to deal with your children? You Muslim, I'm Baptist. I don't believe in Muslims, so I'm not going to your mosque. Well, I'm not going over to this Baptist church because I don't believe in Baptist. What if the children caught up in between? What are they supposed to do?
No, or they should be raised in both, and then decide when they get older. But that's one thing that should be worked out. There's one thing there's one thing that I always tell women and men. Okay, I said especially for men, not as much as women, right? If before you even think about making her your wife, you need to, number one, meet her 5 closest friends, okay, because that's her circle, okay, that's her female circle, okay, that defines who she is outside the family, and you should actually be introduced to her family and see how she operates within that family, because those 2 circles would actually tell you who the real person is inside, okay, and then how she acts inside the church, okay, what does she believe? A lot of people hide that from each other, okay, because they're afraid that's going to be a deal breaker. But you want the deal breaker to happen before you get married, and not when you're in the divorce attorney's office.
Absolutely. And if you guys can agree that I'm going over here to the Muslim temple, I'm going over here to the Baptist, can we go together at each other's church at some point? These are all things have to be worked out and it may be okay. But if you guys about to say, I ain't never going to no Baptist, or I will never be a part of the Muslim faith, then why are you getting married? You started out with turmoil. You started off.
Because the Islamic household is run completely different than the Christian household. So I don't even know how that works out. So, it doesn't always work out. So.
Well, you really have to look at your cultural difference, because some people are black to the bone, you know, and they are grounded in things that cultural things, and some people are not. It's amazing, Keith, how you can be around black people have none when it comes to the cultural values that you may ascribe to. Have you ever been around people like that? You're trying to say, where are you from?
It's a couple things. Culture's part of it. Also, one thing that black folks don't pay attention to is class. Okay, it's not as focused upon in the black community, but a lot of times when I counsel men, especially because I counsel mostly men, even women sometimes, right? There's the class difference. Okay, if a woman comes from upper middle class background, right, and you come from working class background, the way she sees money, the way she sees household, the way she wants her surroundings is completely different from yours, and there's going to be a clash. Okay,
that's right, because if her parents live a certain way, she may expect, when I get my house, it got to look like this. This is how I would read. This is the type of community. So you have to just be honest about where your financial status is. And that's one thing men do not do until later in the game. You need to say, hey, I'm barely making. I barely make enough money to take care of myself. I'm in the struggle. What's wrong with a man who can't say, well, I'm in the struggle?
Well, normally women find that out pretty quickly. But the thing is that what I've seen, because the man he may be good in bed and he may be good looking, she'll hide him from her best friends and she'll hide him from the family. And I said, if you're ashamed to show him to your family, show him to your best friends, then that's probably not the man for you, regardless of how else you feel about him. Okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can't be the holding point. It really can't. And I hate to see people base relationship on how good they feel in bed. Life is not the bed. You're not going to be in bed all your life, and when something happens that you are not able to do what you used to do in bed, then what happened to your relationship? Everything, every joy, every thrill, every intimate moment you have is in the bed. You might be in trouble at some point in the game.
Remember the thing about the parents being upset because she's making most of the money and he's at home with the kids and stuff like that. Okay, that's because you did not vet that man through your parents. If you had then all that stuff could have been worked out, or they could have got to know him and what he brings, because it's not just money that you bring to the family. How you raise good with the children. Is he smart? Can he teach the children? What kind of family can you put together? They will get used to that if you introduce that man to the parents first, because that's going to be an issue. A man should always meet your 5 best friends, because Dr. Rose, your girlfriend's going to tell you if he ain't up to snuff, according to that circle, right? That's the first one. Secondly, is your family. So, and a lot of women, I want what I want. I want to do what I want to do. And then when you get married, and then your girlfriend start yakking at you about why you marry him in the first place, he ain't blah blah blah, and then your mom and your daddy say the same thing, that causes strife, and the next thing you know, you're sitting in an attorney's office.
Absolutely,
with 3 kids and a broken family.
With 3 kids, a broken family, and a man making the same $13 an hour he would make when you met him. Okay. So how much child support you think you're going to get?
You ain't getting no child support, and you still have to work them 50 hours or 60 hours a week that you were working, and there's nobody home with the kids. And then your mom and daddy are upset because they have to pick up the slack. and you could have vetted that. It's some, marriage is love, but it's also a business, and
It
you have to
is
take care of
business.
business. And I
Well,
was, go ahead, doctor. Go ahead,
well, I
Dr. Rose.
just want to remind the audience that they can go to my YouTube channel, Dr. Rosie, YouTube.com, and most of our shows are archived there. So the one you missed, you can go there, and you can also let your friends know about these YouTube. It's youtube.com / at Dr. Rosie 11. That's youtube.com / at Dr. Rosie 11. Or just click in Dr. Rosie YouTube. You'll find us there. Make sure that you go and listen to these shows. I've had wonderful guests, Dr. Anderson, Dr. George Frazier. The list goes on, and we've had many thought-provoking shows that I think you need to hear.
Yeah.
So, Shawannah, I hope you're feeling better, hon.
Poor baby.
Whole thing. I'm going to bring you some castor oil.
Yes. But I will be feeling better.
I'm going to bring you some castor oil. I bet you're going to feel better then. And some catnip tea, okay?
Catnip tea, okay.
And when you go to my YouTube, subscribe to my channel. Make sure when you go to YouTube, subscribe to your channel. And you got to pray for Shawannah. She's not feeling well. I'm going to take her some castor oil, some chamomile tea. I'm going to hook you up, girl. I'll hook you up. So drink plenty of water, take your rest, and feel better.
Feel better.
Yes.
All right. You guys have a great day. As you go on your way, same time next week, same time.
And remember, don't hide that man from your folks because you want him that bad, all right?
That's right, because they gonna bump him to him once sooner or later. So you might well just bring him on out and tell him, look, this is my man, okay? And if you don't like it, it's on you.
Don't have him meet at the baby shower, okay? That's a bad thing to do.
Oh my God.
All right.
Have a great one.